Hi friends, let's do some problem solving this time uh, to try and grasp the concepts we have learned so far better. So let's see how it goes. So this time what I've done is I've done two changes. One is I have tried to change this online IDE or integrated development environment for writing Python codes. Last time when we were working with Python codes, I noticed that uh, there were a few problems while compiling and other things, and I had to copy and then refresh and paste things in the page, and it worked somehow. And this time I also thought let's use this screen if it appears better compared to the black screen we were using earlier. So this is one change. The second thing is we are not going to learn a lot of new concepts this time, but what we will try to do is we'll try to do problem solving. We'll try to use whatever we have learned so far to solve some simple uh, basic level or maybe like semi intermediate level problems. Now this is going to be a little bit of a different intellectual exercise for you. uh, the reason is problem solving is little more complex and difficult compared to just picking up concepts because we are applying the concepts this time. You may find it simple when I am writing the codes for you, but if you are given a new problem, and you have to write the code, it becomes difficult sometimes. But that's a habit you should develop while learning any programming language. uh, Ask for a random problem and try to solve it. So this time what I did is I asked Chat GPT to give me 10 problems to solve using strings, lists, conditional statements, and for loop. So this is what it has come up with, and let's try to solve them one by one. The first problem is write a program that takes a string as input and count the number of vowels in the string. Okay, so this is a problem one, and then I'm just gonna say problem one, and let's write the program now. First, the program is gonna take a string. We can ask a user for the string input, so we know how to do that. String is equal to input, and please enter the string for which you need to count the number of vowels. Okay, so the user is going to enter the string. Now, what are you going to do with the string? So, suppose the user enters a string, and then now you need to find out, go through each character of the string and see if it's a vowel, and then count it. So, now how are you going to go through each character? uh, we need a we need to use the for loop that we learned in the previous video. Now we also need to think whether we want to access the indices or the elements themselves. So I don't think accessing the indices will be useful this time. We can simply use a range function. Sorry, yeah, we can use a in function for I in string, and so this is going to give me the elements. And there are a couple of ways of doing it. One is we can just define another string or substring, which can where we I just take all the vowel elements a, e, I, o, u. You can also take the caps. Okay, so in order to cover the better better cover the character space here. So you got this, and if I say for I in string, so I'm accessing the elements over here, and then put a conditional statement if I, uh, and then we can say for I or for j in substring, and then I say if I in j. So and then I can put a counter here first. I can start counting. Say count is equal to 0, and then if I is in j, I will say count plus equal to 1, and then plus equal to 1 is it, and then we can say probably print count. Let's see if it works, and then we'll try to debug the code if there are problems there. Okay, so I want to enter a string. I will say amazing. Okay, so it counted 3. I think it's working right. So you have 3 vowels over there, and it also picked this in. So let's try to understand the code, how it's working. So I defined the vowels in a substring, and I started a counter because you want to count the things. When you want to count the things, you need to start a counter, and counter has to be initiated outside the loop. Now for I means for, I can say for character in string, for each character that's present in string, because this is a dummy variable, you can just whatever you like to say. You can enter your name also if you want. And if you say for each character, so this is going to be different from the earlier one. And then if I say for each character in substring, if my character which I'm picking up the first character from my string, I'm picking up a, and I'm checking if character is in each character, and then I'm counting. So I'm just checking the first thing, and I'm checking if it is present in substring. I'm adding 1 there. If it's not, I'm just skipping, and I just keep on going on this, and it works. We can have another thing, fox for example, fox, and it counted 1. I think we can simplify it further. Probably we don't need to check for each character. We can say for character in string, if character in substring directly string, and I think it's gonna work here. Let's see. uh, Amazing again. Yeah, it's gonna work. You don't need to even pick up each character one by one. The in uh, is gonna just check each of the things. So we were repeating. Actually, we can actually make it more um, readable. Say user string. So let's say user string, and then let's say vowels. So let's make our English better. So for character in user string, for each character in user string, and if that character exists in the vowels, if that character is in vowels, then I'm just counting it. And that's pretty simple. So this code was pretty simple. We solved the first problem here. And what am I gonna do? I think you can have a screenshot or whatever, and I'll delete this problem over here, and let's go to problem 2, and let's see what it says. So the problem 2 is write a program that takes a string as input and output the reverse of the string. So this we have done already. Actually, we have done this in our previous videos. Let's try to solve this. So we're going to ask the user for an input string input, and say please enter the string, or we can say just please enter the word or sentence or whatever. Okay, sentence doesn't matter, like you can have a sentence, because whatever you're gonna enter, it's gonna take it as a string text, and then now we have to output the reverse of the string. Now in order to demonstrate the output better, let's ask the user to enter the word, and then we will say print, we did this earlier, string start from the end and keep printing. Let's see if this works. So I entered a word, anonymous. And yeah, so it worked fine. So we solved the second problem. It was pretty simple this time. It didn't need a loop or whatever, but it needed these indexes of this. So this one we did already, I believe, but it will be a good practice again. You guys can try doing it yourself if you like without looking at my code. Uh, Say problem 3, and what it says is write a program that checks if a given string is a palindrome. It reads the same forward and backward. So we could have modified the previous code. So essentially say string is equal to input, please enter the string, and then now we're gonna say if it's a palindrome or not. So let's check this. We say string equal to and string colon colon minus one, and let's try to print this. Print string equal to colon colon minus one, and then let's try this. Yeah, so I enter a string race car. True, it's a palindrome. Now, why it ended true is because we are printing a boolean value. So what we are asking is this if the string is equal to this. If it is the equal to the reverse string is equal to the reverse of string, it enters true, and that's the definition of a palindrome. It reads the same forwards and backward. Suppose let's enter non-palindrome string, say car. Say false. It says false. This means uh, it's not a palindrome. So that was pretty simple. Two lines of code again, and let's move forward. Fourth problem, finding even numbers. So write a program that takes a list of numbers as input and prints out all the even numbers in the list. So this is very similar to what we did last time. So I think the logic was there already. We just need to reformat the logic and to solve this problem. Okay, so let's work here. So what I can do is take a list of numbers. Okay, so I'm gonna just rather than asking the user to enter the list, we can enter the list over here. There is a way to ask a user for entering the list. We are gonna do that in subsequent videos anyways. Let's not complicate the things at the moment, and say 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and now we got a list of numbers, and then we need to print out all the even numbers in the list. Now this time we are not taking the even number indices. We need the even number elements. So we can use for element or I, which we used to say element in list. For each element in list, if my element, if I just divide this by 2 and the remainder is 0, then I will say print element, and then this is one way. But what this is going to do is it's going to give you each character in one line, and so that's what it did. Why did it skip two? It should not, or did it not? Oh yeah, it didn't actually. It didn't skip two. Okay, so this is printing the even number elements one by one. There is another way. We can initiate a list called even, and then we can take that list. Let's say Eve, even not sure if it's a reserved keyword. So we initiated a list, and then we can keep on appending the elements to the list. So say Eve dot append and element. So the element will be appended only if it's an even element. And let's say, oh, what happened there? Uh, oh, it should be Eve, not even. What happened? So it did not append anything. So if I have a list, I initiated a list, and for element, if the element is this, we didn't print anything. So we have to say print Eve, and it's going to print this. Yeah, so you got the list with even numbers, so which is good. You can do whatever you like. You can print the list with even numbers, or you can just append. There are many ways of doing it, but I think we solved this problem. Let's get into the next problem. Write a program that takes a list of numbers as input and calculates and prints the sum of all numbers in the list. Let's try it on the same list. Okay, so this is problem number 5. Write a program, say hashtag, and uh, problem 5, and write a program that takes this and does this. Okay, so no hashtag in there. So this is my list, and I want to take this list and calculate and print the sum of all numbers in the list. Okay, so let's initiate a variable sum equal to 0 initially. Now for each element in the list, uh, so what we can do is we can modify this thing and say sum plus equal to element. So we will just keep on adding the elements. Let's see if it works with. Oh, what happened there? Oh, no eve. So I'm gonna print the sum here. Yeah, it gave me 55. We can check if it is 55. 6, 10, 15, 21, 28, 28 and 36. 45, 55. That's right. If you want, like, you can dynamically check how the value of sum is evolving, how it is adding each element every time. So for that, you need to do what you need to do is just get this print statement inside the for loop and run it again, and you will see how it works. So initially your sum was 0, then you added the first element 1, you added the second element 3, and then it keeps on incrementing the values, and that works beautifully. So this is easy. This was easy. We solved it. This is the right way. You need the sum. You can also do this. The sum is, you can add some a bit of text there to make the output understandable. So this worked fine. So we are successful so far, and now we want to write a program that takes a list of numbers as inputs and find the largest number in the list. Okay, so let's keep the same list and then work on that. So say hash problem 6, and a program that takes a list of numbers as input and finds the largest number in the list. Okay, so print max. So let's see if this works. And yeah, it works fine. That's easy. So we learned the max function earlier, and this is an appropriate use case for max. Very easy. Okay. Write a program that takes a list of words and an integer and prints out all the words in the list that have a length greater than the given integer. Oh wow. Let's see if we can solve this. I'm not sure. I haven't even looked at the problems before recording this video. It'll be good test for me also. How many of these I can solve in the first go over here. So let's say problem. This is problem 7. So we have a pretty good score so far. Uh, and write a program that takes this and prints out in the list that have a length greater than the given integer. So we need two inputs from the user. Okay, so let's directly ask the user for input. Li is equal to input, enter list of words, and then okay, and then num is equal to, so we need an integer, so we will do typecasting here, input, and then say enter the number and print out all the words in the list that have length above greater than the given integer. Okay, so now when the user enters a list, you need to ask. So one way is to ask the user to enter the list in this format. I, he, she. Let's make a list of pronouns. They, we, and so on and so forth. Okay, let's see if it accepts that. Enter the number 5. Okay, so let's see if this the way, yeah, the list worked. So we have to just tell the user has to make sure he enters the list as a list in the format of a list. There, as I said, there are other ways. Actually, the user can enter words directly with space for formatting, and we can convert it into a list. We haven't done that so far in the course. I just don't want to introduce a new concept here, uh, although it's not a new concept, it's an application of what we have learned. But let's skip that for the time being and ask the user to enter the list of words in the list format. Okay, and so this is fine. Now what I need to check is, uh, so we can say for element in list, in list, uh, if len of element, so length of the that is greater than this num, and then we can create a new list if you want, and then append these new list equal to, so we are initiating a new list, and then we can say if this is greater, new list dot append, and then say element. So the element will be appended to the new list, and then finally we can print the new list. Print new underscore list, and let's see if this works. So now I'm entering a list of words. I'm entering, okay, so same thing, I, we, he, him, she, her, they, and them. And okay, that's enough. Now I want the number. Let's say 2. Okay, so why did it not enter anything? So this is something bad that it did. It just did not append any number, any uh, element there. So I have this. So number is fine. New list is this. Okay, len of element. So let's see. Let's try to debug this code and say print element. Let's print the element whenever it just uh, if it finds that element is bigger, it prints the element. Okay, so this is a little clumsy actually. So for debugging this, let's try here. List is equal to he, she, and then we can try this simple use case example. And so enter the number, say 2. Yeah, it works over here. So there might be some problem while appending to this. So it prints the numbers fine. So what wrong did we do there? So let's do this hash and get this. So if the length is number, and so I'm just gonna print new list and then say run and enter the number 2. Yeah, it printed she. So this means the code is working fine. There was probably a bit of problem while uh, I overlooked something when I asked the user to ask for input. We can try that again. Um, So say input, uh, please enter a list of words. Okay, so now let's see if it works, if it just taking it right. So say he, she, the same example, and then say two. No, there is something going on. It's just not. Oh, it's not taking it as a list. Yeah. So okay, so what we can create is, so that we can't ask the user for a list like this. So I think I have to teach you how to do it, like the thing I was avoiding. So let's say, please enter a list of words in comma separated. No, let's say please enter a list of words. Let's see. Oh, it might be simpler than what I was thinking. He, she, they, and then to, okay, so it's entering there. So what I need to do is I need to convert it into a list. Li is equal to list of lin. So let's say, let's call this lin, and this, let's call it lee, and call this lin. Let's see if this works now. I, he, she, two. Now it checked into a list, and I can print an li over here. Print li and run. I, he, she. Oh. It's doing very badly. It's just taking each character and converting into a list. So let's try this. Let's try this. No, it doesn't take any positional arguments over here, I believe. So this is not going to work. So what we need to do is enter a list of words separated by commas, by spaces. Okay, so what I can do is I can create a list and len dot split. We did this, I believe, and then we can use a space as a delimiter, and we can say print list, and let's try this. Okay, so list of words separated, he, she, they. Okay, so this works fine. Yeah, this works fine now. I don't know why I was just beating around the bush. We should have done it directly. So you ask the user for a list of words directly separated by spaces, comma, space or comma. So it will be entered as a string. Now what you can do is you can convert that string into a list directly. We used the split function earlier in one of our string videos. I think it's video number 2. So you split it and it will convert it into a list. If you want, you can look at the list here, and then you ask the user uh, the number, I mean the integer as an input, and then you check each element, the length of the element. If the length of the element is greater than a number, you add it to a new list and print the new list. So this program works fine. It just took a bit for us to just sort out entering the list, but it's pretty simple. We have already learned this concept. Let's just get rid of this and ask the next problem. Counting the occurrences. Okay, write a program that takes a string and character as input and count the number of occurrences of that character in the string. Let's see if we can solve this. Hmm. So takes a string and a character as input and count of number of that character, occurrence of that character in the string. Okay, so string is an input. String is equal to input. Please enter the string. Please enter the string, and then say character is equal to input. Please enter the character. Now if so, let's set a counter. Count equal to 0 for character in string. Count equal to plus equal to 1. Let's try to see if this works. And say oh, just and say print count. Okay, let's see if this works. ABC and say A. Why does it say? Oh no. For uh, no, for I in string, and if character is equal to I. So this is one way. I'm sure there is another way, but if character is equal to I, and then we can put a counter and add 1 to the counter. Okay, so this is a simpler use case. Say ABC, and A. Oh, why is it not counting? If the character, oh no, if the character is equal to I, that's what I wanted to say. So ABC, and A. Yeah, it did it right this time. So, or yeah, so I believe this is easy. We don't need to take another route. I think one way is fine, although there are many different ways of solving the same problem. But I think we'll stick to the solution we have got so far. So this is good. I just want to stop here, but let's try to see. Write a program that takes an integer input and prints the multiplication table of that integer from 1 to 10. Oh my god. Okay, let's do that. So first ask the user uh, table. Okay, int, and so typecasting is important because we need an integer. Please enter the number for which you want to print the table. Okay, and then for I in range 1 to 10, uh, print, then we can say table star, we can say cross, and then say I, and then say equal to, and then say uh, table star I. Okay, let's see if this works. Oh, I have, oh, okay, so we have a variable there. We have to make sure the formatting is right. Um, yeah, yeah, that's fine. Okay, so I want the table of two. Oh no, so it has to take the full range. Okay, so table of two. Yeah, if I go up, just prints the table. Yeah, so whatever table you ask it, between two ones are two, two twos are four, so on and so forth. So let's change this. So I want a table of 100. Yeah, so it prints a table of 100. So that was pretty simple actually. So it's just a 3 lines of code. Uh, If you don't like this x, like, which is human multiplication, you can use computer's multiplication. And table of three, yeah, so this works fine. That's beautiful. Print so many lines in this, really three lines of code. And okay, so we'll stop and then go to our last problem for today. So write a program that takes a sentence as input and then capitalizes the first letter of each word in the sentence. Okay, okay. So I think the best solution for this is take each word, split the sentence by spaces, grab the words, and then capitalize. Use the capitalize to uh, capitalize each word and put the list back to a string. So this is one way I'm thinking. If you have some better way or a shorter way of doing this, please write in the comment. But let's do uh, it using the algorithm I suggested here. So I will say sentence as a keyword, sentence as a variable, and say input, and please enter the sentence. Okay, I got the sentence. Then convert each word into a list. Say list is equal to sentence dot split, and we are splitting it with respect to the this space. You can actually uh, there are ways like this is a simpler use case actually, but like you can get rid of commas and all other punctuation marks also to make the words better, but like it doesn't matter actually. Even if you have punctuation mark attached to the word, it will still work fine, I believe. Okay, so now I got the list, and what I can do is for each element in the list say uh, okay, so I'll create a new list the way we create it. So for each element of the list, you can say list dot append. So append each element, but you have to get the upper, no, the capitalize. So we use the capitalize. We learned the capitalized method for strings earlier in our earlier videos, and that's what it's going to do. And now we have the list back. We also uh, no, we don't need to create a new list. We can create a string, new string. The only thing is, yeah, we can create a string. Is string is equal to just initiate a string, because ultimately we need a string. We don't need a list. So rather than appending to the list, we'll say string plus equal to. So string is equal to string plus, and then take the element and capitalize it, and then also add a space there because we need to separate the words with spaces again, and it should work. Print string. Let's see if it works. Otherwise, we'll try to debug it. Okay, enter the sentence. Uh, Here you go. Okay, yeah, it worked fine. So it capitalized each word in the string, and that's what we wanted it to do. So, so I feel we should stop here. The only thing I'm going to do is I'll just say problem 8 so that we keep account of how many problems we solved today, and say problem 9 and then problem 10, problem 10, and put a hash there in the front, and good. So we solved all the problems randomly selected for us by ChatGPT. Great. I think this was a great learning exercise, and we'll move forward from here in the next video. If you want another problem solving video like this, let me know in the comment section. And thank you very much for watching this. Bye.